context of Power Resources International, we're really blessed to have the CEO and production manager here. We'll introduce them here in a minute. This is one of Talenton's largest investments, over 2 million, I think 2.2 or 2.5 million now. Yeah, and this is a job creating machine. They have over 200 full-time employees. These are really good jobs. When I visited, I met a Rwandan woman who's an engineer, who's delightful. And she said the only place in this entire country where she could get a job that met her qualifications was at Power Resources International. They also have programs that support the communities around them, including the small scale miners, some say up to 30,000. So we'll hear more about that. This is a company that Talenton calls a societal level impact company, meaning when they go to scale, and they already are, they are going to impact this entire society. So we'll get into that in a bit more details here in a minute. When we entered, it was $1 a share. Their value is now most likely well over $4 a share, certainly $3.50 at the last round. So significant value creation. And they're doing something distinctly different than most miners are doing anywhere in the world. I would say almost any miner, this ethical, environmentally sound, beneficial mining. And I really want Ray, you and Jane to unpack that. So with that, I'll turn it over to Michelle.
Thanks, John. Ray, you're one of the most amazing people I've met who have had a very diverse career journey. Would you mind sharing with our audience a bit more about what got you to where you are? And then once you're done, JD can do the same.
Sure. Well, I don't take compliments very well, but thank you. So I started out my career actually many years ago in the defence industry with a scholarship in the Royal Air Force to be a pilot. And during that season, transitioned into work with the US Department of Defence as a consultant and civilian, but always in conflict areas. The Balkans originally, during the Bosnia conflict and the Kosovo conflict, and then later into the Middle East. And that didn't go down well with my wife after I got married and raising a family. So through some twists and turns of a career change, I went into running chambers of commerce for the British government in Kosovo, Macedonia. And then through another twist and turn, took my sort of engineering background mentality into the mining sector, looking at how waste rehabilitation had been done at old mines from Yugoslavia, and realized we could do some innovation. We then realized that innovation in the mining sector is not big. It's a very dogmatic industry. And so we started the hard yards and building out the innovation ourselves. And long story short, we ended up in Africa with our very innovative technologies, where we do manufacturing in the UK and production over here.
Oh, fascinating. JD, what led you to PRI?
Thank you very much. I can say my journey PRI started in 2022 as Oakland. I joined the company when I was 12 years for 8 years. I can say that since I joined the company, my life has changed completely. And like I was introduced to several key projects that was going on inside. I was leading the team that did the construction of the power system group, and I really appreciate that. After almost 1 year, I'd like to share with you that my hard work has been acknowledged and now production manager.
Wow, production manager, what a journey. The people in our audience might not know that you have had a very rough start based off Rwanda's history. You know, you have overcome many obstacles. Could you very briefly just give some people insight into the obstacles you've overcome and what that journey has been like?
Nice and loud.
Shout out. I can say after the 1992 genocide, so many people, including my family, has had so many struggles. The life was the worst, and days by day, I can say our life has changed. Some of us have been homeless, and others like they don't have where to live, what to do. And since we have been PRI, most of us there is much change. So we have been homeless now.
That's encouraging. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. John?
I just want to say, from homeless to production manager at PRI is a heroic journey. So thank you for sharing a bit of your personal story. We'll start with you, Ray, on this one. Why is PRI a unique mining company. I'll leave it at that. Why is it a unique mining company? I think in the industry and in Rwanda.
Okay, well, I'll start with just by answering that we work specifically on tantalum, which is unique by itself. Tantalum is in pretty much every, well, it is in everyone's telephone, in your computer, in your webcam, in every single electronics device that you'll buy in a modern shop. It's also known as a conflict mineral. It's something that has been plagued with all kinds of bad press for good reason. Over the last 15 years, it's led to changes in the Securities Exchange Commission and the Dodd-Frank Act in the United States. It's led to the release of an OECD framework signed up by 26 countries. So it's a very critical metal in terms of regard of actual modern technology, but also in terms of human rights. We took a look at the industry. It's fragmented, it's complicated. Rwanda, on average, was having 200 deaths in the artisanal mining community per year. And we took a view that our technology that we'd innovated would also be applicable to tantalum. But it's quite a big story. It's not something you can just go and build a mine. We also have to build a refinery. And that speaks to the reversal, actually, of what is really hundreds of years of economic oppression of Africa. I mean, to put it bluntly, we've got to put money back in Africa. So we're in a situation where the chemical processing industry that technology we developed and the mineral processing technology we developed were both well suited to tantalum. So we've entered the African market and we now have the world's only tantalum refinery on the continent of Africa. It's the first internationally accredited conflict-free one also. But on the mining side, bringing an industrial level of safety, of process engineering and training, actually. And I mean training not just on the mining side, but on governance. As you mentioned, John, just before, 30,000 artisanal miners in Rwanda, almost all of them that we visited on their mines work without any form of governance. So there's no financial stewardship, there's no pension contributions to medical insurance. It is quite a devastating community. So we've set up a mine that actually ticks all of those boxes. We've set up employment contracts where people can get mortgages and buy houses. And the mine itself has started acting like a sort of center of excellence where artisanal miners can come and just learn basics about oxygen monitoring in tunnels and landslide prevention. So it's a bigger story. I won't unpack the whole thing, but the idea is to bring in knowledge transfer and primarily safety to the industry.
Yeah, fantastic. And JD, for you, within Rwanda, what makes PRI kind of exemplary, unique?
I can say what makes PRI unique is they put people first, safety first. I can also say that we open with contract that we got very rare contracts in the country. I've been working in different companies, food and beverage, industry, and construction. There are companies that were there, just there as a worker. They don't take care of you, they don't transfer enough knowledge to you. So with PRI, I can say we are really gaining a lot of experience. We are in an industry we have ever been in ONS country. We are fully committed to contribute to this company's success.
Yeah, well, that's really encouraging. Thank you so much, both. Michelle, were you?
So Ray, you alluded quite a bit to impact, and we've talked about that. But I would like you to just expound a bit more on some of the other segments you didn't touch on. Environmental conservation and some of the projects that you've been able to do.
Yeah, I'll try not to talk too long over this because it's a vast operation actually. When it comes to environmental sustainability, we have a zero waste operation, and it is building momentum. It doesn't go like that from day one. But on the mine, for example, all of our so-called waste of byproducts, we turn them into bricks, and those bricks we can offer at a low cost. And in the district of Ngororero, where we are based, there is a severe shortage of construction materials. Driving out there earlier this year in May, just after the landslides, obviously it's quite tragic. Several people, I think over 100 people in the country lost their lives in May through landslides. Coming back a month after that, you'll see people that have made mud bricks from those landslides, which is probably not a bad use of the situation. But it goes to show a complete lack of building materials in these communities. There's a 9-month lead time on bricks if you buy from Kigali right now. So as a byproduct, it's really good for the environment from our point of view, but also it's a much needed product out in the community there. So that's on one level. On the other side, we actually produce from the refining of the metal fertilizer. It's a nitrogen-based fertilizer, which for the soils in Rwanda, they're volcanic, they're acidic. It's an ammonium chloride. It's very good for this type of soil. And we came to realize from the president's office that it's part of the national strategy because they import 100% of the fertilizer requirements in the country. So, of course, it has an impact on the agricultural community, but it also has a bigger impact in that it's stopping dollar outflows. And that's a big economic issue for the country overall.
Awesome. John?
Yeah, Ray, can you expound on how you're cleaning up rivers and how your team is actually civil engineers, all types of engineers, geological. You're actually doing some things to help with the infrastructure of Rwanda. Can you share that?
Yeah, sure. Yes, we're a bunch of geeks, we're nerds at the bottom line. So all of our expertise is in-house, which on a commercial level has actually allowed us to deliver the mine and the refinery project for probably 50%, 60% less than if we used outside consultants for the projects. But we do have hydrogeology experts, geotechnology experts for landslide prevention, and we've effectively come up working also through the British High Commission and through some of the government-owned construction companies, preventable issues up on the Gatuna border crossing on the north, where we're helping fix a very complicated landslide underneath the customs building, which would actually shut down trade between Rwanda and Uganda if that continues without being fixed, which at the moment it's not far off. So we've done that out in the community in Ongarera. We've taught people how to plant a vetiver type of grass in certain hillsides, again, to prevent landslides in the future for using cheap materials. These are something that's available. We've set up a vetiver farm on site. We've also planted, I think, about 20, maybe 30,000 trees as part of our commitment on the environmental side. But it all comes down to having in-house engineering expertise and not sitting still.
Yeah, Ray, thanks. It's wonderful when a company looks at their core assets and resources and capabilities and thinks broadly about how they can have impact in the country. And so I just love that. And I think it mitigates risk because you build a tremendous amount of goodwill with the government, which is really exciting. So, JD, I have one more question for you. What is your biggest challenge right now that you're facing as the production?
I'm facing so many challenges. First thing I would say, I'm in a new career. I'm in a career which is new for everyone in the country. So I'm being challenged by the chemical engineers, the laboratory technicians, like pushing me and challenging me to have that quality that we need. And sometimes we end up not having the real quality that we need, and we need to learn something bad. And I need to push also my team so that we can come up with specifically which one we need. It's something which is not easy. I would say that.
Well, I love that you're sharing that honestly, and it's not easy. There's a whole story there. But Michelle, I'm going to go over to you, and then I have another question after you.
Sounds good. JD, just expounding on the challenges you're facing. I'm hoping that you can bring faith into the work that you do. Maybe you can share with our audience how you're able to bring your Christian faith into the work that you do as production manager.
I would say every day before we start the work, we do stock. We start by prayer. So we have been pushing this to be like a daily routine every day. So every day we make sure we make prayer before we talk anything else related to work. So I would say we keep this, and we will also try to come up with something new and which will keep people playing because this.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Ray, maybe you can also highlight leadership not being easy, right? How are you able to bring your faith into your leadership journey and what you do?
Well, challenges have us on our knees every day, right? So in our industry, I think JD just alluded on the quality side. I think it's probably good for everyone watching, listening right now to know that when we produce tantalum, we're down to parts per million and parts per billion of purity. So this isn't just a case of did we get it right or not. Different customers have different requirements, and they are challenging. And yes, it keeps us in prayer daily. But as JD mentioned, we do have We have actually prayer teams supporting us internationally. We have the three main locations: the office, we have the mine, and the refinery. All three locations start the day in prayer. I'm very blessed. I have an amazing advisory team around me, John and others. Our chairman, his wife. We have regular prayer calls, weekly prayer calls, actually. Local directors from TAL, we come together and pray. And it's not just a feel-good factor. You see miracles. It's black and white. We have seen the Lord at work in what we're doing, and we wouldn't be sitting here now had it not been for some incredible miracles, incredible protection. We're working in a very complicated industry. Mining, the safety is tough. Chemical processing, we're working with some very difficult, dangerous chemicals, and we have an impeccable safety record, and we just thank God for His grace in this every day.
Absolutely. What a testimony. Thank you. John?
Yeah, so without, you're hearing about all these wonderful impact, faith integration, which is awesome. But at Talenton, we believe that without financial stability at a minimum, hopefully significant growth, you wouldn't have all these other benefits, right? I mean, so can you give us a little bit of a feel of your financial trajectory? Feel free to share some of the challenges,
Yeah.
And of getting to where you are now, and maybe where you're going to be 3 years from now.
Absolutely. Well, the challenges are we were obviously massively ambitious. There's a bunch of entrepreneurs that came together to do this. We obviously struck upon the actual construction phase of the project, well, right in the middle of COVID. Logistics issues, prices spiraling out of control. We had all kinds of problems. You name it, it hit us. We had key equipment dropped on border crossings, and trying to get replacement parts during COVID where people cannot fly in. We had to stay in quarantine. I don't know how often. It's been tough. We've invested. I think in total, if you count the whole thing from day one or day dot on the whole project until now, it's about $20 million. And the nature of mining and manufacturing is that it doesn't make money until it's turned on. And so it has been a very heavy going investment season. By the grace of God, I say we've made it. The mine is built and started production. The refinery started production. So we're not quite breathing easy yet because we've got to sell and we've got to build up that firepower in the treasury. But I say, well, we look for 3 years from now. I mean, to speak in the maths on the forward-looking financials, we would have, as you mentioned before, a substantial market cap in excess of $300 million. And, the growth would go from what we are now 4 times, probably up to about 8 or 9 times. So I think shareholder value for us is a key factor in a dividend-driven company. And yeah, I say the future's bright, and we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I've had the joy of serving on the advisory board of both SOC and PRI, front row seat in these ups and downs. A lot of prayer, a lot of wisdom from other board members, and tribute to folks like JD and Ray for their resilience of getting through very difficult times, being poised now for significant growth and impact. I think with that, we'll have to call it, even though I could love to keep going. So I want to say thank you to both of you. So we really appreciate you coming in and spending time with our investors. Did you have one final word or two just to say to our investors?
Just thank you for the support. I mean, without Talenton, we would not be here today. And I don't mean that just financially. The mentoring, the support, and the love and attention. It counts. It really counts. Running a business hard.
Yeah. Well, praise God. So David, back over to you.